What is going on, guys? It is Blink here, back with a new guide. So in this guide, we'll be talking about baiting players into peeking and a few more fighting tips. Also, the V-Bucks giveaway is still going on, so make sure to visit the link in the description to enter. And lastly, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications as opposed to Amazon gift card in the comments every time I upload. By turning on notifications, you'll have a way better chance of getting here first and redeeming that code. Anyways, guys, let's get to this guide. So, I want to talk about a good way of baiting players into peeking. Now, my teammate was fighting a player up ahead, and this player never saw me because I came late. Instead of building and letting that opponent know I'm here, I used the natural cover around me to wait until this player peeked his head up. He doesn't know there's two of us because he might just think it's a 1v1. That's when he'll feel a little more relaxed about the situation. Now, I told my teammate to continue spraying at his materials to get him to peek. The reason you make sure your teammate sprays at his materials is because your opponent will notice he's a little more vulnerable and will go for a shot. Now, you have to make sure you're confident in your shot because your teammate might potentially get critically tagged up if you don't hit the shot. So, you'll need that sniper in this situation in most scenarios. As my teammate shot at his materials, this player peeked up his head and I got the snipe off. Once again, you want to use that natural cover, that way your opponent doesn't notice you. This is actually a pretty good way of baiting players into peeking, as it's been done on me too. When opponents are a little spread out, you don't know if there's a teammate because you only see one. So you kind of zone in on that one player. So make sure you're careful when you're playing against more than one player. This baiting tactic can also be done in solos by shooting at your opponent's materials for a few shots and then instantly switching to your sniper to get ready for the peek up. The only difference is, well, you're obviously exposed, so it's not really a sneaky tactic, but you will bait your opponent into popping his head out. Here's one more example of me utilizing this trick to get an easy snipe. My teammate was fighting a player, and that player had no clue if there was two of us. So I went a little wider to try getting out of this player's view to see if I can get an easier shot. I had to build in the process because I was getting shot from the mountain, which doesn't help the situation. Although the moment I built my little fort, I went for the shot because the materials being built would have been easier to spot. But overall, guys, you can see these situations work if you're a little bit distant from your teammate. Now, this next situation, I want to talk a little bit about taking a fight when one of your opponents is trying to shoot at you as you're fighting his teammate. So, as you guys can see, as I built up, this player's teammate tried squeezing in some shots as we built up. Now, if you still have your teammate alive, then let him know that you're getting shot at and see if you can get a shot on this player because he's potentially standing still. My teammate already knew what to do and was able to snipe this player. Now, this leaves us at a 2v1 situation. One more thing I want to mention is if you don't have a teammate, there are a few things you can do. If you have a sniper and the opponent you're fighting is not pressuring you that hard, then you can potentially go for the snipe because once again, the player shooting your materials is probably standing still. This allows for an easy down. Now, if you're being pressured, then you'll have to build away from your opponent shooting your materials just like I did. The reason for this is because you'll have more support and you might not be in his view after building away. This will give you more time to fight off your current opponent without any shots in the back. Now, once again, my teammate did get the down on this player, and the player I was fighting dropped down somewhere below. We made sure to follow him the whole way because as I showed in my last guide, you want to slowly make your way down from the high ground as you spot your opponent. Now, this next situation is just a tip I want to give you if you down a player close to the safe zone. If you've gotten the down, don't eliminate the player. Let him crawl in, especially if you're low on health or you're close to endgame, because the endgame circles deal a lot of damage. You can see I waited until he got close to the safe zone. This allowed me to take a good look at his loot and grab anything I needed. I also dropped an item before I went into the storm. That way I can pick it up after getting back into the safe zone. It avoids me from taking more damage by juggling the items back in. So make sure you guys leave an item inside the safe zone just in case you're close to endgame storm. You'll also be able to juggle 2 items out of the storm for a total of 3 items back into the safe zone. So just one cool tip to take a note of. Lastly, I want to quickly talk about the stink bomb. I haven't made a guide on it because it doesn't have a crazy amount of tactics you can utilize with it. But I do want to talk about the most common time to use the stink bomb, which would be anytime your opponent's boxed in. I ended up downing this player's teammate and he tries reviving him. So what my teammate did is threw the stink bomb on top of the box, causing damage to both players. The player reviving now has to leave because the stink bomb does 10 damage every second, which is a solid amount. This leaves the down player to potentially die, and his teammate now has taken a solid amount of damage and has to fight off a 2v1, which doesn't help with the lower health. Now, I also want to mention that you can throw the stink bomb at your teammate because it won't do damage. So anytime you have a teammate fighting, let him know you'll throw stink bombs in his approximate area. That way the opponent he's fighting takes damage as he doesn't. Just a quick tip to take a note of. Well guys, that's it for this guide. Hopefully I've helped some people out, and a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated as it does help me out a lot. Anyways guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day or night, and I'll see you on the next one.